Greetings, everyone. My name is Nick Batla, and I am the trainer with Intellipaat. So let's jump on to PPC audit. Now, what exactly is PPC audit? What do we really mean by that? We'll be starting with that and why it should be done. There are various reasons, there are various benefits. So, what are these benefits, advantages of running a PPC audit? We'll be speaking about that. When exactly these audits should be done? So when I say when exactly, it can be from the time perspective, whether it should be done on an annual basis or a biannual basis, or once in a month, or once in a quarter, or once in a week, or maybe once in a day. What should be the frequency, and how you can decide on the frequency? That really depends on the kind of business and the kind of PPC account, the level of PPC account you have at present, which you're working on. So we would be looking at that, understanding the time perspective, and also the major aspect is where exactly you should be looking at when while doing a PPC audit, what all things one should look at, starting from the data range, the settings part. So what time frame should you look at? What all data should you look at? What each and every settings which is there in the PPC account, what all settings needs to be looked at and shaped up, followed by looking into the overall account structure. If there is a specific account structure which is followed by which is to be followed within the Google AdWords, looking into that from the campaigns and the ad groups perspective, what all campaigns have been created and what is the relevancy and the flow and the overall themes behind the campaigns and the ad groups that needs to be looked at, followed by the keywords and the ad copies. So from the hierarchy point of view, after campaigns and ad groups comes in the keywords. What all keywords have been used and inserted within every ad group in a campaign? That needs to be looked at. What all keyword match types have been used in order to make the advertisements run successfully. So evaluating all that while doing the audit makes a lot of sense. Along with that, using ad copies effectively and also doing a lot of A/B testing just to make sure that only the right uh, uh, ad copy is being given the maximum leverage. Uh, Only the performing ones should be given much more bandwidth and much more budget, and the non-performing ones should not be given any sort of preference, and there should be learnings which should be extracted out of the non-performing ones. Looking at the ad copies and also the quality score is another thing to be looked at while doing PPC audit. So we'll talk about that. After that all is being done, we would be looking at how to go about diagnose a landing page and the network along with the ad extension. So one should look at each and every other aspects, whatever we have covered so far in our past videos. All that needs to be looked into, followed by the Google remarketing campaigns. So what all audience lists have been created? Are they really capturing data or not? The customer list, the audience list is growing or not? And is it effectively made for each and every step which a customer can take on your website? So that all needs to be looked into while doing a PPC audit. We'll speak about that. Followed by Google Analytics. So Google Analytics is a great tool for all the digital marketing campaigns, but when it comes down to the paid campaigns, they have a great role to play. So how do we go ahead and look into the overall analytics and identify and audit each and every element of a PPC account? So what all elements can be looked into while doing a PPC account audit into Google Analytics? We would talk about that. And the last part within the entire PPC audit, we would be talking about what needs to be done after the PPC account audit. So it's all five W's and one H we would start with, and the what part is going to take the maximum time because we have to look into what all aspects needs to be looked at, followed by what happens after the account audit. So the the job doesn't end there. After doing the account audit, you're not good. I mean, it's a continuous process. So we'll keep talking about that. All right. So many Google AdWords experts people who claim themselves to be experts, they feel that their account is perfect now, and then they can just leave it and let it run independently without interrupting anything. But that's not the case. Things do change over a period of time. Every day, the customer's online browsing behaviors are changing. The overall technology which is being provided by Google, whether it's in Google AdWords or any other Google technology, even that tends to get changed because of the changing habits, interest, buying behavior, the competitor strategy, the competitor's bid strategy, the competitor's advertisements, the competitor's products. You have to stay onto the top of your Google AdWords account. You can't just think that my AdWords account is perfect and I can go to sleep. That is a biggest myth which many Google AdWords experts have got. In order to get maximum ROI, it needs a close monitoring, and that too on regular intervals. So when we say regular intervals, the interval frequency is very much dependent upon the size of your Google AdWords account. No matter how hard you work on building and setting up an account and writing ads and getting them in shape, you need to optimize them regularly in order to uh, make effective utilization of your money which you are spending, and making sure that best practices are being implemented so that you don't miss out on something, right? So even if your ad is performing well, don't feel that you don't need a PPC account audit. No, that's a wrong thinking. Even if your account is doing well, you definitely do need a PPC account audit, and all your effort in account audit are gonna give you great results. That is for sure. All right. So what exactly this audit is all about and why it should be done? So that was all about why the what exactly the audit is, why it should be done. Let's take a look into that. So it's all about simply digging deep into your account, just not overlooking your account. By overlooking your account, things can be done very easily, and things which are done easily, they don't end up paying you much. Without pain, there is no gain. So that's a common phenomena which applies at every single part of whether it's a professional or a personal life. So similarly, if you are not taking any pains to identify the room for improvements and areas where you can actually improve, then it's not going to give you much great insights. So you simply need to deep dive into single aspects of your account in order to improve performance of every single little thing. And after identifying these room for improvements, or after identifying the gaps, one needs to analyze the data which is mentioned out across in the AdWords account. After identifying the gaps, the improvements, and looking into the data, the list of corrective actions needs to be listed out. The job doesn't end by just identifying the gaps in the roofs or improvements. A specific list, a detailed out list of what all possible solutions can be taken, what all possible steps in which needs to be taken in order to uh, minimize that gap, and get the overall uh, mistakes being corrected with the right corrective actions being taken. So grab those with the grabbing of those opportunities is very important so that the right mix happens. And just do not keep investing blindly and expect some great ROI to come in. You need to stick to a particular campaign which is not delivering positive ROI. Make it work till the time it doesn't keep giving you positive ROI. That's what PPC audit is all about, guys. I always recommend the last point which I want to talk about from this slide is that there is always a great way to identify the gaps, which is by taking a third party's opinion. If you are committing one mistake, it might happen that after doing an audit for the first time, second time, third time, you're still not able to identify that mistake because in your eyes, that mistake is not a mistake. You might feel that the kind of stuff which you're doing is absolutely right. So it makes a lot of sense to always have a third party's opinion. Maybe not just one person. Maybe you can involve a couple of individuals or agencies who can give you much more insights. Investing into getting PPC audit from third party people, maybe by paying them always a great idea. Whether it's an agency or a Google AdWords expert, keep trying out with more number of experts, not just rely on one single team or one single agency or one single AdWords expert. Taking third-party opinions and maybe from much more people or much more agencies is always a great idea. That's what I know. It would sound very subjective, but it is one of the great ways to get maximum ROI. All right, so why and when, why part we have covered, what exactly it is, what exactly a PPC audit is. Now comes on to when should we do a PPC audit. The when part is very important. Till the time we don't know at what point of time. If it's a fairly new Google AdWords account which you have set up, then it doesn't really make sense to do the overall evaluation or an audit on every single day. It has to run at least for few days in order to gather data, in order to give you certain statistics and give you some more information to evaluate what is performing and what's not. Let's say after 15 days or a month, once the data gets captured, it makes a lot of sense to keep evaluating, keep auditing uh, the entire uh, aspects of PPC account. And if you are into seasonal business, I would say go ahead and do a comparison of your PPC account on quarterly basis. If it's not a seasonal, it's a generic business, then maybe an annual PPC account audit is also good. Or if it's a fairly bigger organization, then maybe a weekly or a couple of times in a week is the kind of frequency. Larger the PPC account, much higher the frequency it should be for overall evaluation, for overall PPC account audit. So it's not only just these intervals when one should look at doing the PPC account audit, but also whenever there are certain performance issues. If there are certain performance issues, things are not in shape, money being spent is much more higher than the kind of return which you're getting, and that too if it has been quite a lot of great time. So if you have been investing for quite some time and the returns are way lower than what you are investing, then there is definitely a performance issue. So whenever there is a performance issue, you don't really need to look into whether it's a weekly PPC audit or a monthly PPC audit needs to be done. Straight away, go ahead and get opinions and suggestions from various other AdWords expert or with various other agencies. If you are running your own business and if you are doing it yourself, taking help from other individuals also makes a lot of sense, so that you get to know where exactly were you going wrong, right? So whenever same set of people, like I already mentioned, are managing a particular account for long, one should look at doing a PPC audit even at that point of time. All right, so that was about when it should be done. Now comes in where you should be looking at. I mean, there are plenty of things which are there in a Google AdWords account. It's a huge matrix, and within that huge structure altogether of a Google AdWords, the very first thing which has to be checked into and looked into is the data range. The date which has to be selected, it has to be done optimally. uh, you can take a look at long enough range of time in order to analyze the relevant data. 3 months of data for diagnosing a specific issue is good, or 1 year of data when you're doing a general audit. If it's a general audit, maybe you can go for a 1 year or maybe 6 months data. So date range of the entire data has to be looked into. Then comes in the settings part. So the settings part is the very fundamental thing while creating an advertisement. While creating an advertisement, there are plenty of settings which one needs to look into while doing a PPC account audit, starting from the devices being targeted. So there are plenty of devices which are targeted, whether it's a computer or a mobile or a tablet or a so forth and so on. So what particular device is giving you much better conversions is something which needs to be looked in. If there are much more conversions from a mobile device as compared to a tablet, then absolutely you need to put in more money into the mobile as compared to the other devices. The other things which needs to be looked into is the ad delivery and the ad rotation. When exactly is your ad getting shown, and how what is the overall delivery pattern? Is it the accelerated way or is it the standard way? Which one works the best? So I generally go ahead with creating different campaigns with everything being similar, being fixed, and only one single parameter being kept as a variable. When you keep one single factor as variable and you create two different campaigns, you can evaluate and you can compare both of the campaigns and see which one works best. Whatever campaigns works the best, it means the variable which was being changed in that campaign was working as per that settings. So that is a great way of always doing an A/B testing. This is called an A/B testing, where you have a campaign A and a campaign B, where everything remains static and fixed. Only one aspect remains variable in both the campaigns. So you have one aspect being variable in both the campaigns, and you're doing it as an A/B testing. You can even do it as a A, B, and C. You have a campaign A and a campaign B and a campaign C, whereby in all the three campaigns, the entire statistics, the entire ad copy, the entire settings, and each and every aspect is same, but it's only just one single variable which is changed. So it can be anything, whether it's the location, which you actually keep it as a variable part, or you keep the devices or the ad delivery part, or you keep the language part being variable, and you have each and every aspect. So if you have a business which is dealing with audience which are from various languages, you can keep language being one of the variable component. And the last thing being ad scheduling. So you can try running different campaigns with same settings and same ad copies, everything to be same and the keywords being same, but it's only just the scheduling and the time pattern, the time part being different. If you have different time in both the campaigns, or maybe A, B, C, or D version, whatever number of versions you want to have, all the versions will give you statistics after a certain period of time, that which one works the better, which one had given you much more conversions for a similar amount of budget. By doing a lot of A/B testing or a hit and trial method, you get to you conclude on various things in terms of what works and what not. If you don't do that, this all has to be done in PPC audit, and if you don't do all that stuff, you are simply missing out on a lot of opportunities. You might end up paying a lot of money whereby you won't be even aware of it. So that's what the overall role of a Google AdWords expert comes in, where a lot of auditing part, the creation of A/B testing options needs to be done across. All right, so after looking into that, one needs to look in while doing a PPC account audit is the account structure. Now, if you can see over here on the right hand side bottom, you have the overall structure uh, in a short snippet, in a short image. You can see the overall structure of the AdWords account, which you have actually learned in the previous videos, where you have major Google AdWords account on the top, and then the campaigns being on the as a subset of the accounts. And underneath campaigns, you have the ad groups, and underneath ad groups, you have the ads and the keywords. So while looking at the entire structure into the AdWords account, one should look at whether the naming structure, the entire hierarchy, the overall theme which is being used within this account structure is making sense or not. Is it easily understandable or not? Does it really make sense? Is it in shape? These are the kind of questions which one needs to ask or needs to really check into while doing an audit, a PPC audit. So while looking into that, one should look at whether do they have unique names or not. If they don't have, it's going to make if it is a lot of gap which can be identified. So after reading, one should be easily able to find out what kind of groups these are and what kind of ads one can expect underneath these ad groups and campaigns. So our campaign search, display, or search and display. I always recommend having a search campaign being a separate campaign and a display being a separate campaign altogether. Having a search and a display is absolutely a feature which is being enabled, but using the search and display, both of them being different, makes a lot of sense, and it shows that they are great ROIs when you use both of them separately. So another thing to look at while looking into the account structure is the interest in category. Are they really broken down perfectly and for each and every campaigns? And check the overall account structure. The last thing is again check the overall account structure and see it from the sense point of view. Does it really make a lot of sense? Whether the campaigns are somewhat uh, different and the overall ad groups and the ad copies are in continuation to what we are trying to advertise within the campaign. Right. So looking into the account structure is another thing which an AdWords auditor should look at. The other thing which the AdWords auditor should minutely look at is the ad groups part. Underneath the campaigns comes in the ad groups part. As you can see in the image, this is very well segregated where you have keyword 1, 2, and keyword 3, and you have the ad copy 1 and an ad copy 2 and an ad copy 3. So with this is all within an ad group. Within an ad group, you have three advertisements and three keywords being there. What keyword to be matched across to what particular advertisement and an ad copy is something which needs to be checked in. It should not be a mismatch. As you can see, the keyword 2 matches with the ad 2. It shouldn't happen that the keyword 3 is linked to the ad 2. So the sequence part, the overall relevancy parts needs to be looked into. So if your campaigns are set up in a general category, then you need to look at whether the ad groups are comprising of the sorry not compromising sorry comprising of the subcategories or not. Make sure they all are not that too wide. The ad groups needs to be very specific, and specific ad groups always gets in great ROI. Maximum 20 keywords per user needs to be used per ad groups as per my suggestions. You can definitely go for more keywords per ad group, but having as much targeted as you can with lesser number of keywords for every ad groups. Have different ad groups, which is good. Have different campaigns, which is also a great thing. But have very specific ad groups and very specific ad copies and very specific campaigns with very well targeted keywords. And along with that, if you have deep linking of your landing pages, every specific ad copy to have a different landing page. You cannot just go ahead and have one landing page working across for all your campaigns in your account structure. That is something which is not going to make a lot of sense and would not lead to great quality score. It is a lot of effort put creating a lot of landing pages for every single ad copy, every single advertisement. But trust me, the overall effort which would go into creating so many different ad groups and ad copies and having different landing pages won't go in vain. They will always bring you much better ROI. They'll always deliver you results if you go in that sharp. So it's all about hitting the bullseye. The next thing, guys, comes in which one needs to look at after the campaign account structure and also the ad groups. The other part needs to be looked at is the keywords part. So within the keyword details, when you go on to all the keywords, one needs to look into the match types which are being used, whether it's a broad match being used or a broad modifier or a phrase or an exact which are being utilized. There is no strict formula on which match type works the best. I mean, there can be different situations for every different businesses. If majority are broad, then get hold of phrase and exact for few of them so that you can evaluate how things are working if you have different phrase match. I would say the same thing, having a different campaigns, and within different campaigns, or maybe you can have different ad groups wherein every single aspect remains fixed, but only one single thing remains variable, and you can keep the match types being variable. You can have in both the ad groups, in two ad groups or three ad groups, you can have one ad group where you have all the broad match with a good number of negative keywords, and then you have a second ad group with uh, phrase match being there, and then you have another ad group with everything being same and only exact match being there. So you can check which ad groups gave you much better conversions at what price. so that you can come to the conclusion which keyword match type is working best and would be best in terms of investing in money. So if it's broad predominantly, check for the negative keywords usage as well, because you can't really afford to use broad without the usage of negative. You might end up just discarding your overall budget. Check your negative keyword strategy, which is very effective in order to weed out the irrelevant traffic, and also check whether the broad modifier match is being used perfectly or not. If the bids are too high, are they really resulting into good amount of conversions or not? And if the bids are too low, and are they really getting their impression shares or not? So things needs to be looked in, uh, and the balance needs to be maintained with the budget and also the conversions and also the bits which are being mentioned. So everything needs to be looked into while evaluating a PPC account. Finally, look into various search terms and see which all keywords are bringing in conversions in order to push those keywords much higher and get return out of the overall PPC budget. So that's with the keywords. After looking into the overall AdWords account structure, the campaigns, and also the keywords, one needs to then jump in and look at the advertisements. When I say the ads, these are the search text ads majorly. Keep your basics in mind and look out for various things while doing a PPC account audit. Look out for various basics stuff like whether for spelling errors, look out for various grammatical errors. This definitely does happen, that great search engine marketing experts who are good with the language part, they also go ahead and make some or the other grammatical errors and also spelling errors. So looking into that, one should also look at also whether the ads are taking advantages of punctuations like trademarks, registered symbol, etc. Since these punctuations are allowed, one should definitely go ahead and make effective use of them. Right. So once that's being done, one should look at if the ads are promoting any offer or not. When we talk about promotion offers, it can be certain discount or any event being run across. Was that making sense or not? Uh, the advertisements which are created in order to promote them, and if they are being created well, are they really uh, are they really running on time? Many times it happens, then the promotional offer advertisements are still running even if they have got expired after a certain date. So that is something to be looked at, right? So also one needs to look at, are the ads, ad groups, campaigns, landing pages, all of them are in sequence and are making sense or not. If they are not making sense, then your account is in danger. You might be missing out on a lot of opportunities, and you might be spending a lot of a hefty amount in order to get uh, good clicks from uh, targeted audience. And if that's not happening, then there is no reason of running that AdWords account. If you want to derive maximum ROI, all these stuff needs to be looked into. Another thing to be looked at, if your ads message is strong enough or not. Is it enticing? Is it motivating the end customer to go so that they can go ahead and click on those advertisements or not? If they can go ahead and they would like to click on an ad because of the message which is being written over there, then you are doing your job well. If you have a generic stuff being written and it doesn't make a lot of sense, then it is no way a great thing to do. So having said that, there you also needs to do also need to do a lot of A/B testing while creating advertisements. So for making sure, for just checking whether the message which you have written in your ad copy is strong or not, whether people, your end customer who are clicking on your ads or who are seeing your ads are really liking the ad or not, are is it really making a lot of sense? Is it really making an impact? You should go for that. For evaluating that, one should go ahead and do an A/B testing again on regular basis. So an ad copy being created in a version A and in a version B, that should be done on regular basis, and trust me, no ad copy is perfect. You can't really judge which ad copy is going to work for your audience. This is very subjective. You can only come to a conclusion till the time you can only come to the conclusion only after putting in money on various different permutation and combination of ads. And after using those permutation and combinations, you should just stick on to the ones which are performing much better as compared to the other non-performing ones. After looking into the ads, one should look at the quality score aspect. Now, the quality score of each and every keyword is very much dependent upon three major things: the relevancy of the landing page, the overall click-through rate, which is called the CTR, and CTR is calculated as number of clicks upon number of impressions into 100, and also the ad copy relevance. If you have great ad copy with the keyword being targeted and the keyword being also being targeted across in the landing page, the theme is being used, then obviously your strong ad copy will get you better click-through rate, and better click-through rate, better ad copy, and a landing page relevancy will give you lesser CPC, lower CPC, and much better ad rank. So for a much better ad rank, it doesn't really necessarily mean that you should have a stronger budget. You should go for a higher budget amount. No, not really. Your quality score is the most cheapest and the cost effective technique. I would rather say it's a free way to actually go ahead and get much better ROI. So pull out fast few reports and look into the overall quality score which has been achieved into your account. In case there have been a lot of trouble, you need to check where exactly the quality score has been going down. What is the reason behind that? Is it the CTR not coming up, or is it the ad copy not that strong, or is it the landing page which is not doing well? So all those things needs to be looked into while evaluating the quality score. Structuring of the ad accounts, like I've already said, should be checked at. The relevancy part of the campaign, the accounts, the ad groups, the campaigns, all that needs to be looked at. Setting up various ad groups that are specific and relevant is something which should be looked at. And ad copies should be tailored as per the campaigns and the ad groups and the ad overall keywords being used. Landing pages, and the last thing within the quality score which one needs to look at is that landing pages should be created in line with a specific ad group and a bunch of keywords. If the bunch of keywords which you have taken that is not in line with the ad groups, then you're really missing out on a lot of opportunities. The next thing, guys, comes in after looking into the quality score while doing a PPC audit is diagnosing the landing pages. When we talk about landing pages means the end destination URL where the customer or the search engine user actually clicks on. Whenever we have the end audience typing in a query in the Google search bar, the advertisement which we try to implement and try to get on the search bar, that pops up, and whenever there is a click on that advertisement, the user goes to a specific web page. That specific web page is called landing page, as we all know that. We have to see as by keeping ourselves into the customer or the search engine user shoe, and we need to go ahead and click onto our ad and need to understand how is our ad performing. Is my ad performing well? Is my ad really attractive? But by looking into it as a customer, and also need to look whether the landing page which gets opened up after clicking onto the ad, is that making a lot of sense? Is that strong or not? So checking for the landing page load time is another thing. Check for other various factors like if there is a slow redirect or a multiple redirect or a slow server response, or if there is a large page size. All those things needs to be looked at. Along with another things which needs to be looked at is the mobile and the tablet responsiveness. Are these pages responsive enough for the devices and also for the browsers? When we say browsers, there are various browsers like Google Chrome or Firefox or Safari or Opera Mini. For most of the relevant browsers, your landing page should open perfectly. And similarly for the other uh, major devices, not just the laptop or the computer or not just the mobile, but also with tablet, one should go ahead and look at. While doing a PPC and audit for the landing page, while diagnosing it, one can also look for the overall speed at which it opens up. So there is a page speed insight tool which is being provided by Google. One can go ahead and check that in order to look for the landing page timings. The next comes in is ad extension, guys. As we have spoken about it and we have learned about ad extensions, there are various ad extensions which are used uh, and created within ad. One, while doing a PPC account audit, an AdWord expert or the AdWord auditor should look at what all extensions have been used. Are they being used or not? If there is a specific optimum utilization which is happening of these add extensions or not. So one should look at the site link extensions if they are set up properly, and that too of various relevant pages. Minimum four is that what we prescribe. Maximum 10 should be created. And when it comes down to showcasing the ad extensions, it's up to Google. Minimum two they can showcase, and they can showcase much more. So while doing the PPC account audit, the site link extensions, the overall quality and the terminologies which are being used, and also the theme of the site link extensions with the major theme. So the theme of extensions and the theme of the major ad should have some close relationship. Otherwise, the customer or the search engine user or the ad viewer can feel out of the place, and it might not really result into much better CTR. And much better CTR, if it's not being achieved, it can lead to higher CPC and lower ROI. So looking into the site link, and also looking if there is a call extension which is being used effectively or not. If there is a business which is into capturing leads through inbound calls, then use of a call extension is a must. If it's a brick and mortar business where the end customers are being invited in order to come to the showroom or to the particular location, and then enticing that customer to go ahead and buy in product from our showroom. So for that location extension, for a brick and mortar business, the location extension is something which should be looked at. Looking for PLA ads enablement is another thing which should be looked at while doing a PPC audit, whether they are enabled for the e-commerce sites or not. So when we say PLA ads, it means the product listing ads, which are the shopping ads. The PLA ads should be enabled for the e-commerce sites, and also as I did mention that ad extensions do tend to improve higher CTR, and which ultimately leads into much better quality score and reduction in the CPC. That's the reason why one should go ahead and look for the ad extensions. The next part, guys, which one should look at into while doing a PPC account audit is the network part. Within the network, one should go ahead and look at the display network and check for overall placements, whether the overall placements are working perfectly or not. Are they running automatically, or how are they being managed? So some are in managed placement section one needs to look at, and also whether these managed placements are hitting the goal is another question which one has to evaluate while doing a PPC audit account or doing an audit of an account. So are these auto placements? Another thing which is looking if these auto placements, if there are any auto placements which can be or should be moved to managed. If there are ill-performing placements, are they being excluded or not? That's another thing. You can't really make a non-performing placement. When we say placement, these are the websites where the ads pop up or the ads actually appear for the advertiser. So if there are certain placements, there are certain websites where our advertisement of the advertiser is being showcased, and so if it's a non-performing one, one needs to look whether they are not taken back again. The ill-performing placements should be excluded at absolutely. Having interest category or the topics targeted campaign running is another thing, and also look at if the account is running image and text ads both for the display. If the image ads are present of various sizes to fit multiple placement types, that also to be checked across. There are various multiple options which are provided by the display ad network. If they all are being used to the effective most stuff or not, that is something which one should look at. So that's for the display network. The next thing, guys, comes in is remarketing. Like I did mention, we have studied about remarketing in our past modules. It's all about showcasing the same product to our end customer, which he or she has liked while they have visited our website before. So while doing a PPC account audit, one needs to check whether the remarketing code is being implemented and remarketing campaigns are running perfectly or not. If the campaigns are working, one needs to check within the shared library. So you have a shared library where you can just go ahead and look at various audience list. So you have audience list for n number of situations which can happen on your website. So it depends a lot on the size of your website. If you have the audience list being there, another thing which needs to be looked into while doing a PPC account audit is that if all the lists are collecting members or not. So collection of members within the audience list is very much important. Another thing is you need to look at is that if is there an audience set up for each cart abandonment level. If there is not, then you're again missing out on certain opportunity. So you need to look at if the audience is set up for each abandonment level or not. Also find in cookies codes in the website code. So that is another thing which needs to be looked at while doing a PPC audit from the remarketing aspect. The next thing, guys, which one needs to look at while doing a PPC account audit is the Google Analytics performance. Whatever data, whatever stuff which we can see within Google Analytics, is that really making a lot of sense and giving us the understanding of where my PPC account is going towards? So check if, first of all, for the first time, one needs to check if the Google Analytics account is set up for the website now or not. If it is being set up, another thing to look at while doing a PPC account audit is to see if if the Google Analytics account is linked to the paid search account or not. So the AdWords account and the analytics needs to be connected in order to get effective utilization of these tools. Check for the conversion goals in the e-commerce enablement or not, and also looking at other overall metrics within Google Analytics makes a lot of sense. Where when I say the metrics, some of them being how many new visitors were there for a specific time period, or how many new sessions, average time being spent across on the website, that also needs to be checked, along with average number of pages per session, what number of pages per sessions have been achieved, and also the bounce rate. So if there is there an upward trend, are the average number of pages per session improving, the new visitors and the new sessions, are they really improving as over the period of time? That is something which needs to be checked while doing a PPC audit. All right, so these are the overall things, guys, which one should look at while doing a PPC account audit. The last thing which comes in is answering a question: what happens after the PPC account audit is being done? So you have done the overall audit, you have looked into each and every aspect, whether it's from the search network or a display network. Within the search, if you looked at the overall AdWords account structure, the landing page part, whether there's a redirect or not, if the overall AdWords account structure makes a lot of sense, ranging from the account to the campaign to the ad groups and then also to the ad copies version. If they all make sense or not, that needs to be looked at. So briefing out all the stuff, once that's being looked into, one should compile out all the list. If let's say the AdWords account structure is not in shape, or maybe the A/B testing is not done properly, or maybe the offers and the overall uh, events which are happening, time-based events which are happening, they still get promoted across, they're still being live even after the event has got over or the promotional offer. So that can also lead to much a lot of destruction in your overall budget. So looking into all those things and identifying the overall gaps, that needs to be done after doing the PPC account audit, followed by the prioritization part. The prioritization is very much needed in order to get this process of PPC account worked in right shape and manner. So if you prioritize the entire task and evaluate and see which particular task needs to be addressed immediately and which can be actually addressed at a later stage. So prioritize majorly on the basis of specific issues. If you have issues within your account and that are taking a lot of time, that are really making a lot of big impact, then the issues which are making big impact should not be just overlooked, and a great SEO or an SEM expert should be consulted in order to get the PPC account audited. Make sure the last point is that make sure that not many changes. It's very much recommended that you don't simply go ahead and make all the changes which you have identified, all the opportunities which you are identified. You go ahead and implement all of them together all of a sudden. One should go ahead and do all these things into bits and pieces. If you are doing it overall, if you do overall implementation and covering up the overall gaps, which whatever opportunities which have been identified, that implementation should be done into various phases so that there is no side effects, there are no bad effects which happens because of the overall implementation. So all these implementations should be done into smaller pieces, not in one single go. That's all we have, guys, within the PPC account audit. Thank you so much, everybody.